And away we go.
So, what's it gonna say?
Well, something big just came out quite recently.
Yeah, something big is always either good or bad. So, what's the big news that came out this today?
Pope Francis has passed away early in the morning at the age of 88.
Yeah, wow. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of heard about that through another Discord server, but I just didn't think it was. I'll be honest, I didn't really believe them, but wow, he really passed away, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Wow. But I mean, I think I said in one episode that it was bound to happen.
Yeah,
I said,
yeah, I was.
yeah, I said in one episode it was bound to happen like somewhere like this year. Or something, right?
Yes, yes, you did. And so did I. So we really
Yeah,
can't say that this was not something that we should expect. Even as sad it is for a lot of people in the Catholic world, or even most Christians around the world. So it was bound to happen at some point. But at least the legacy of Pope Francis will be remembered by a lot of people.
yeah. I mean, even if somebody whose legacy is positive, because at least his legacy is going to be remembered by like a lot of people. I mean, I'm just gonna say R.I.P. Pope Francis because, well, I mean, yeah, it's like just, I just want he's gonna be a new pope for the
Well, I have looked on social media about who is likely to be the next pope. I've heard a lot of people that are who have conservative views that they would like to have Cardinal Sarah or Cardinal Burke to be the next pope. However, in my opinion, I think realistically, I think the cardinals of the Vatican would likely pick Cardinal Tagle from the Philippines to be the next pope.
whoever's given the job, they can get fine. It's just a matter of like when the new pope will officially make his presence.
Yeah,
But yeah, anyways, it's like it is sad that whether anybody disagrees with it or not, it's always not a good thing when a person passes away, unless you thought that person was a terrible person. Regardless of mourn or just his family and friends still have mourn. Probably all the Catholics around the world mourn, but also just you know just in a way celebrate because me personally, I'm going to assume he's in a better place. I'm going to hope he's in a better place. But rest in peace.
yeah. Rest in peace.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
The, yep. The biggest questions facing big tech ahead of earnings.
I'm going to take a moment.
As big tech kicks off its quarterly earnings season this week, the industry's bellwether companies have been thrust into a cauldron of uncertainty and turmoil that they didn't anticipate when Donald Trump re-entered the White House nearly 100 days ago.
Next, it's been 100 days since Donald Trump entered the White House.
Yes, as if it's recording.
I'm not going to lie. I feel like these 4 years are just going to fly by. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
they will.
I don't know. I mean, I know people are happy about it or upset about it. But like, these 4 years are literally just going to fly by. And I gotta say, yeah, it's unfortunate that like things are kind of taking a downward slope. But sometimes the unexpected happens, like mysterious ways. So all you can really do is just work harder, and bounce back from that. Yeah, you should be fine. Regardless if Trump is in the office or not.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm not gonna lie. How do you think Donald Trump is doing so far in the White House?
Well, could be worse, but again, I've seen there have been better days, so maybe in the middle, but I think it comes down to how he handles existing negotiations with whatever goes on between Ukraine and Russia, what's going on with Gaza. Like he said he's going to do something regarding to those two conflicts, and although there is progress of some sort, the the aftermath is still yet to come.
Yeah, I mean the progress is slow and steady. It's definitely gonna take a while for like something to happen. But yes, let's just see what Donald Trump does. I'm not gonna see if he's I'm personally simply gonna wait and see what he does. I hope what he does is good. WWE3. Yeah, like a couple weeks ago, technically, I saw this one dude like with a sign. It's like I said something about making a weird in WWE3 or something.
It-
He was an old dude. I think, and it was late at night. So he was just walking. There's a lot of weird stuff that happens in Times Square. You might
yeah,
be right.
yeah, he might be right. Yeah,
I mean, we've been saying like we're in it. They're just not making it known yet.
yeah. They're not telling us we're in World War III. They're just trying trying and tell us whatever big news we should be caring about, and then when the time is right, then they'll say, okay, we're in World War III.
This,
Everyone's getting involved. Brace
this,
yourselves,
this,
and stack up whatever stockpile you got, and yeah, brace yourselves.
we'll say this. Probably okay. Fine, I'm fine with that. All I'm gonna say is that I don't think I would necessarily scratch that. I wouldn't even have a choice. But it's like but if I did have to, I would probably either run away or do something. I'm not participating. Shoot, I love the country, but I don't love it that much to put my life on the line for it. I'm just gonna say that. Yeah, I love the country, but I don't love it that much to just fight for it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I love the freedom, I love everything about it, but I would say if I had to, going into the army or like going to war would be my last resort. That's only if I'm desperate for like a job or something like that. It's like that would be my last resort, my last resort if I'm just desperate. I have nothing. But other than that, yeah, it's like, hey man, things it's definitely this year started off pretty interesting too. It's like
It sure did, yes.
yeah, I mean, I'm only imagining what 2025 will lead to, but at the same time, I'm not all that worried about it at this moment in time because we're not in the year. But hey, so far, it has been 4 months, almost 5 months of the year 2025, and nothing, nothing out of the ordinary, or nothing that we don't expect out of the ordinary has happened yet, or something, or yeah, pretty much is like there have been no viruses, nothing like that. But they might be waiting. They might be waiting until until like by the end of the year. Yeah, until
Yeah,
like
yeah, I'd say this. I think if there was going to be some kind of virus or disease floating about, they would wait till the end of the year because a lot of people live in the northern hemisphere during that time of the year, where temperatures would be a lot colder, and I think that's where a lot of illnesses of all sorts would best thrive in such conditions.
yeah, because it would not make sense for it. I mean, they could do it, but at the same time,
If they're going to do it, they have to time it correctly, given the
yeah,
changes in climate.
yeah, that's true. It's like they can't do it now. It's getting warm, or it is warmer in some places, but they can't
But
do
not
it
many
now.
people live in those places.
That's true. And as soon as it spreads to like the cold places, they will spread it. They will say spread it into the warm places. They'll just say like it went from this state to that state, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It spread like wildfire. But yeah, they gotta time it. They pretty much have to time it right,
Yeah,
and they will.
yeah,
Unfortunately,
they will.
they will. And there's gonna be a lot of people who believe it. There's gonna be a lot of people who believe it, and there's gonna be a lot of people who don't believe it. You just gotta decide what to believe and what not to believe. It's as simple as that. Really.
Yeah,
But I hope to be in a better place by the time that happens.
yeah,
But yeah, only time will tell. Only time will tell. God will tell. God willing. But yeah, it's like I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm just waiting to see when it will. When like even the fall is probably a perfect time to like just kind of launch that thing too.
yeah.
But yeah, what else in the news?
It's reported that soldiers are signing off, in other words, handing their notice in record numbers. British soldiers refuse to fight for Starmer and his government.
Hey, I don't blame them. I do not blame them. I mean, is there like a reason why they're fight?
Well, I'm reading off the very long heading on an Instagram called on an Instagram account called Raging Europeans. If I will have to guess, and this is just my opinion, everyone's gonna have their say, and they possibly say otherwise. I think the reason why people in the British military are handing in their notice because of, with the reason being that they don't want to fight for the current government. It has to be the fact that the current government in the UK has to be so bad to the point that people in the military or other factions of the military, the soldiers, are like, no, I don't want to fight for this. I don't want to be able to serve any part in this whatsoever. And if that is the case, what does that tell you about what is going on in the nation? This is completely unheard of, in my opinion.
I mean, I gotta give them that. I mean, I don't blame them. I mean, if the government has to be that bad for you to give in your notice and say, "Hey, I don't want to fight for you anymore." You must be doing something really wrong if soldiers are giving in their notices before they even have to fight. Like, I'm pretty sure there are going to be some soldiers standing 10 toes down, like saying, yeah, I'm gonna fight for my country, this and that, etc. But most of them just don't want to do it because
No, they don't.
they see what's going on around the world. They see what's going on in their government. They're like, I don't want to fight for this. I didn't put my body on the line to fight for this. I didn't put my life on the line to fight for this. So they're just saying, they're just saying like, they'll probably use their military experience to like probably, even if they stay in the service, they'll probably just do desk work or something safer.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, possibly. I mean, they could probably just send the desk workers out to war as well. But you know, yeah, I would say like for the most part, yeah. I mean, or they'll just use their experience to, like do other things. Who knows what's gonna happen, really?
Yeah,
I
who
mean,
knows?
really only time will tell. And for the most part, I would say this. Yeah, I just do not blame them at the end of the day. I mean, why would you want to fight for someone who? Why would you want to fight for a government that does not care about you at all or your interests? But yeah, what else in the news?
5 dead as hazardous waves hit Australian east coast.
Really? Is there anything more on the story?
Yes, a 9-year-old boy who got trapped between rocks at a New South Wales beach on Sunday has become the 7th person to drown in Australia over the Easter weekend.
Became the seventh. He became the seventh person to drown in Australia in a week. You said,
Yes, over the Easter weekend.
"Wow, what's going on in Australia?"
I have no idea.
Huh.
Either way, it's
Seven.
very unfortunate.
It really is. I mean, like, it was a kid too. That's very important. I mean, Australia's got to get their act together. I mean, like, having kids drowning and all that stuff. That's just terrible.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah. I mean, during the Easter weekend too is crazy.
indeed, yes.
Yeah, but yeah, it's unfortunate that my condolences are with the child, with the family as well. And yeah, I just hope they're doing well at this moment in time. Well, I hope every family who has lost a kid for, during the week of Easter is doing well in general. But yeah, it's just very unfortunate. But yeah, like, I'll be honest, there has to be something going on in Australia. Like, maybe there's someone doing this. But what do we know?
Exactly.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it is what it is.
And it was what it was.
Exactly. Yeah, is there anything else in the news?
The Righteous Gemstones stars discuss DJ's kiss with Monkey, Dr. Watson, and Judy's reaction.
Oh, wow. Is there more in the story?
Yes, I'm gonna open a source from Cake News, and it
Wait,
says I
wait,
can't read it because something EU related.
wait. It's called hate news.
No, Cake News. I was trying to
Oh,
access it, but they won't allow me because of EU related reasons.
got you. Okay, no problem. Huh? Dude, that is interesting. It's definitely something, but definitely interesting nonetheless.
Yes.
Wow, they're really not letting you read it, huh?
I'm trying to look at. There are multiple news outlets. Oh, I found one. Times Leaders. This is the one that it just allows me to read it. The rest, this is saying you're reading something from a news source that's in the European Economic Area, etc. So I don't know why, but that's EU being EU, I guess.
Oh yeah, I mean they either have something to hide or they. Well, I'll be honest. Everybody always has something to hide, honestly. Which is why you should be honest from the jump, so you have nothing to hide. But
Yeah,
who's really gonna be honest? I mean, shoot, a bunch of celebrities aren't honest. A bunch of shoot, just look at Diddy. Well, if he was
yeah,
honest, he would have still gotten locked up regardless.
yeah.
But you're getting a
But
better
in
person for
but
it.
at least but when he did, but at least when he was being honest, it did it as a he said it as a joke, so people would think it's a joke and just laugh it off and continue with their lives. If he said it in a
I'll be
way
honest.
that's genuinely serious, he would have been locked up sooner.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like every celebrity says something as a joke. They say it as a joke. They tell you the truth as a joke, and then if you don't catch on to it, then they're thinking it's probably that's on you. Then I told you about it.
Yeah,
I mean, some people do catch on pretty quickly, but most people don't.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, hey, I will say this, man. A lot of people always have something to hide, so it's best that you just pay attention and just try to figure it out for yourself and see what they're gonna say.
Yeah,
I don't think. I'll be honest. I don't really know if celebrities. I don't know if celebrities do that anymore. I don't know if celebrities even do that anymore. I don't really pay attention to them as much. I wonder if they still say things in like code or like jokes. But hey, I'm not going to actively look at a celebrity's page or follow them just to figure that out. So I'll just say it is what it is. You there?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. All I'm gonna say is it is what it. All I'm gonna say is it is what it is, man. I mean, celebrities are celebrities, but anyways, what else in the news?
I was gonna read to you something, but the news outlets won't let me because they're in the EU and they won't allow me to read it because I'm not in the EU. So I was gonna read something like,
How many of these things are in the EU?
well, I'm just picking stuff at random and it reads to me 451 unable due to legal reasons. We recognize you are attempting to access this website from a country belonging to the European Economic Area, including the EU, which enforces the General Data Protection Regulation, and therefore access cannot be granted at this time. For any issues, contact then the email address of the outlet in question or call the phone number of said news outlet in question. Stuff. The one I'm accessing is Fairfield Sun-Times. So the headline reads, The Righteous Gemstones stars discuss BJ's kiss with monkey Dr. Watson and Judy's reaction. In The Righteous Gemstones, Judy, Eddie Patterson, and BJ, Tim Maltz, continue to embrace Dr. Watson, BJ's help a monkey in very different ways as the latest episode reveals. For fans who need catching up, viewers will recall that season 4 kicked off with BJ's new hobby, pole dancing. But when a tournament routine goes wrong and he accidentally lands on his head, you
Huh?
were saying?
No, 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 no. I'll be honest. I wasn't really gonna say much.
Okay. BJ becomes limited in his movement and abilities and finds himself using a wheelchair to get around on a day-to-day basis. The injury leaves him understandably upset as it shifts the course of his expectations. Her sister-in-law, Amber, Cassidy Freeman, brings Dr. Watson over to Judy and BJ's with the hope that the service animal can assist. While BJ was skeptical at first of Dr. Watson's presence, the latest episode, for Jealousy is the Rage of a Man, proves his mental wellness has seemingly improved leaps and bounds with the monkey's help. The only problem, Judy isn't as taken with Dr. Watson, and it seems the feeling is mutual for the monkey who tested Judy by throwing her makeup off the counters in the bathroom, and seemingly getting territorial over BJ.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't really get the premise of. Was that an actual story or was that like made up?
I think that's an episode from a show.
Yeah, because it definitely didn't sound real.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was not. This is not something that happened in the real world. It's just something from a show.
Yeah, I was wondering that. Is there anything else in the news?
Let's see. Grandpa robbers to go on trial for Kim Kardashian heist in Paris.
For a Kim Kardashian heist in Paris? What?
Yeah,
Did I did I hear that right?
a group of.
Why is it called a Kim Kardashian heist?
Well, we're about to find out. A group of suspects, nicknamed the Grandpa Robbers, go on trial at the end of April, charged
Okay,
with stealing jewelry worth millions from US reality TV star Kim Kardashian in Paris in 2016.
I'm sorry, the grandpa robbers?
Yes,
So they're old people.
yes,
How do you get hustled by a grandpa? A bunch
I,
of grandpas.
that's what I want to know.
Like, Kim, come on.
Come
Man,
on,
I know you're rich and I know you're rich, but come on, like wasn't her and Kanye still like married at that time or something?
I guess so.
Like,
This was in 2016, so I guess so. Yes, they were at
I
the time.
wouldn't, I wouldn't really know. I don't. That's why I'm asking. But Kanye couldn't do anything about it, huh?
Well, who
Nothing.
knows? Maybe he wasn't there at the time.
But who was? He didn't have any security.
I think they should, because, if you're a famous influencer or well-known individual, why wouldn't you have security?
That's true.
That's what's baffling.
That's true. Then fire the security if they did a terrible job. Then, because like, bro, how do you once more get hustled by a bunch of elderly robbers? That's what I want to know. What kind of determined if it could be great. But anyways, yeah. How do you get robbed by a bunch of elderly people? I mean, there's one. Okay, fine. 50s, 40s, fine. But how does it say how old they were or are?
Let's just see. They might. I think they should. I'm
If
just
it says
seeing.
that they're if it says that they're 70, that's gonna be.
That
If
that
it
would
says
be embarrassing.
it would. If it says that they're 70 or older, bro, you need to reevaluate yourself if you're getting robbed by elderly people.
Oh boy. Get ready for this.
Okay, how old were they?
The robbers were all elderly men. Eunice Abbas, now 71, who pleaded guilty, said, "We were all grandfathers."
You know, I'm not even disappointed. I'm not even upset. I'm just disappointed. Really? You let grandpas rob you? I don't know. It's like you should. Like, how did they even pull it off?
Maybe he was the master.
Maybe. Who knows? Who knows, man? I definitely would not know. Nor would I definitely would not know the reason how anyone would get robbed by a bunch of elderly people. I mean, unless they were, you know what? Fine. I'll give them the benefit of doubt when I say this. They were probably skilled robbers. Probably.
Yes, probably so.
But that's all I'm gonna say. They were probably very skilled robbers. But that's all I gotta say about that. I mean, like, so in 2016, he's 71 now, so he wasn't that old then, right?
Nah, probably in his 60s.
60s, he's ish, almost 60.
So 2016 it happened. This recording 2025. I think it would have been likely 62 when that happened.
You know what? I'm gonna let that slide. I will let that slide. Still embarrassing, but I'll let it slide. And you know what? If I get robbed by an elderly person, I will apologize to Kim Kardashian. But for now, I'm not. But
Because how could you?
it's not like she would hear the apology. So even if I forgot, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
It's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. What else in the news?
About a sixth of global cropland likely polluted with toxic metals.
Huh? What else is there to say about that story?
Up to 17% of the planet's agricultural land may be contaminated with toxic heavy metals. A new study has found as many as 1.4 billion people reside in areas with soil dangerously polluted with compounds like arsenic, cadmium, cobalt, chromo- chromium, copper, nickel, and lead, according to the study published in Science.
In people's diets, you say?
Those were the metals that were found in the cropland.
Gotcha. Okay. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm a bit mixed with this one. On one hand, I understand. Actually, no. On one hand, I don't get it. Why now are we hearing about toxic metals in the soil? Why now are we talking about this? But
You
on the
know
other
what?
hand, these metals somewhat being consumed in our system, yeah, I can get why that's a concern. Uh,
You know what? You know what, John May? I could not tell you why we're just now thinking about this. I really couldn't tell you. We're hearing about a lot of things nowadays. We're getting a lot of information nowadays about stuff that we should have been known.
that's very true.
Being honest, we're getting a lot of information about things we should have been known years ago.
Exactly.
So I really couldn't tell you why we're getting certain information about certain things now. I could not tell you.
Indeed.
So I mean, but anyways, yeah, it's like I don't want to say too little, too late, but at the same time, at least we're knowing it. Or at least we're
Yep, it's better later than never.
even if people are stuck in their ways in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, hey, but it is what it is.
And it was what it was.
Exactly. But what else in the news?
Yes, $1 billion cyber scam industry spreading globally, UN says.
Huh. Okay. What else? What else is in regards to that news?
A UN report highlights the rapid rise of Southeast Asian crime networks, generating billions annually through scams and forced labor, now operating across Africa, South America, and Europe.
Oh wow, crazy.
Scary too.
Very scary. Very, very scary indeed. So,
Oh
what are your
yes.
thoughts on that?
Well, I'm not surprised that there is a crime network for cybersecurity technology. Like, they could just literally hack most technological infrastructures and just be on their way. But on the other hand, well, I can't say I can't say I'm not surprised. I knew something like this was going to happen at some point, and that time is now.
Hey, that's true. And the best thing you can possibly do in this moment in time is, well, just stay calm and make sure you're getting everything. Everything is safe and everything is secure and everything is just, well, there. That's all you can really do. What else can you really do in this situation besides just stay calm and just make sure that everything is under control?
Yeah,
This hat would probably work better with a suit. I'm not sure. Anyways, yeah, it's like is there, but yeah, it's like I just hope everything gets handled and taken care of in a very fashionable, calm manner. And
yes,
yeah, what did you say?
yes.
All right, cool. All right, cool. So, is there anything else in the news?
Tension surge. Philippines refutes Chinese naval claims in Scarborough Shoal dispute.
That sounds pretty interesting.
Ah,
Speaking of which, I think there's some people from my church who are going on a mission in the Philippines to spread the gospel. But yeah, it's like what is there more to say about that specific situation?
Sunday's incident was a rare instance involving the militaries of both countries and came amid fears that a clash or accident could erupt into a full-blown conflict.
Wow. I mean, you said it could have erupted into a full blown conflict.
Yes, it could erupt into a full-blown conflict.
Oh wow, dang. I hope it doesn't erupt into a full size conflict at all. I mean, I hope everything gets handled like appropriately in the way that it should get handled.
So yeah, they do not want they don't want to have any more upsets like we're seeing right now with the other two.
Oh yeah, no, definitely no more upsets. And yeah, like the most you would want is like a calm situation, and for everybody to just well be safe in like the face of fire, the face of the like not face of fire, like the line of fire. I think that's what I meant to say. or at least I think that's how you say it.
Yeah,
For the most part, yeah, it's like I just want people to be safe. That's pretty much all I want, and I want people to live to see another day and survive because humanity is an amazing thing that we have in this life, and well, yeah, pretty much people deserve to live at least for as long as they possibly can until eventually death comes. But other than that, people deserve to live.
indeed.
Yeah. So, is there anything else in the news?
Humans and humanoid robots race in Beijing's half marathon in world first.
I'm sorry, say that one more time. Why are humans and humanoid robots racing? That's the first question that I.
Yes. Humans and humanoid robots ran side by side for the first time in a 13.1-mile race in Beijing's economic technological development area. However, the robots competed in separate lanes for safety.
Well, I don't blame them for the safety thing. I mean, there are robots. You never really know what's going to happen next.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I will say this, man. It was definitely for, like, the better. And why are we running side by side with robots, anyways, man? That's it's a bit weird, but you know,
Well, it is China, so they have the technological advancements.
you know what? The fact that you said it was China, it makes a lot of sense. Then, they would do something like that.
Yes.
I don't even mean that as an insult. I'm just saying, like, I guess expect them to do something like that.
It is true though. Like, we've been hearing a lot of stuff from China that whatever technology they have is, in fact, it's just as, if not more advanced than any technology we currently have.
Yeah, I 100% agree. China has a lot of advancements, and yeah, it's like so when you hear something like that, it's not really that big of a surprise. Yeah, all you can really do is just either be amazed or just be jealous or just have a reaction to it, whether if it's not even a reaction or whether if it's a reaction. But either way, that's really much all you can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Report finds California's clean energy tax policy could raise electricity bills.
Raise electricity bills, huh?
Yep.
Wow, that is crazy. Like electricity bills are not expensive enough as it is.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, that is damning.
It is, yeah.
It's unfortunate too, but you know,
Yes.
what are you really gonna do about it?
Well, generate our own electricity.
But anyways, yeah, it's like electricity is definitely something that we need though. Although, who knows? We can probably just light candles like in the olden days.
Yeah, possibly.
No one's gonna do that.
But they
No
could.
one. Yeah, you're right. We could. We still do have candles technically, but no one is going to do that because
Nope.
people are just the light switch is right there and candles melt with the wax and all that. But anyways, what were we talking about before?
We're talking about California. Clean energy taxation of some sort.
Oh yeah, California, right? California, however that song goes. Yeah, California. You know what? Actually, considering the fact that it's California, I'm not that surprised.
Neither am I.
Like, I'm honestly not that surprised. Like, because it's California. California's been expensive.
Yes, and high taxes too.
California's been expensive, so it's like it's kind of like New York. Well,
Yes.
actually, no. Which one is more expensive, California or New York?
I'd say California because if you have people leaving because of high taxes, then it shows that a state is the most expensive to live in.
That's true. That's actually true.
Also, the rest of New York, outside NYC, is not too bad actually.
Yeah, I mean,
But
still expensive, but not too bad.
yes,
Yeah. So I would say like when people think of New York, they think of just like NYC. I
yeah,
know New York. I know there's more to New York than that. You know,
exactly.
people who are in New York, the city, wouldn't consider like other people from other state from other like places in New York, real New Yorkers. think some of them do like say that as a joke, but some of them are serious about that.
Yeah,
But either way, it is what it is.
and it was what it was.
Exactly. But yeah, it's like it's unfortunate that the electricity bills are going to get more expensive in California. But hey, I mean, I will say this: that's what most people in California signed up for. Unless they're going to move from there. But
Yeah,
hey, as long as they have the money, that I don't think they have any reason to complain. That's all I'm going to
yeah,
say.
exactly.
But yeah, what else is in the news?
El Salvador offer prisoner swap to Venezuela involving U.S. deportees.
Okay. What else is in regards to that story?
El Salvadorian President Nayib Bukele offered to swap 252 detained Venezuelans for political prisoners and foreign nationals held in Venezuela. He framed the deal as a humanitarian gesture aimed at freeing opposition figures and journalists.
Oh, I wonder how that trade's gonna go. I really do. Do you
Well,
think it's gonna? Oh, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna answer your question. Venezuela pushed back, demanding legal records and accusing El Salvador of violating human rights. The US has backed El Salvador's intentions, but courts recently paused further deportations amid legal and political backlash.
Why are we backing?
Well, from what I've heard, the moment that Bukele first got into office, I think El Salvador has one of the worst homicide rates in the world. Not in Latin America, the world. And seeing how the crime and the homicides been going on in El Salvador for the last few years, Bukele is like, no, screw you. I'm in charge. You don't do what I say. You're gonna regret what I'm gonna do to you, or something like that.
You're gonna regret what I'm gonna do to you.
Yes, yeah. So Bukele was, he was serious about that. Like he was whatever he said about the crime in El Salvador, he was not backing down. He was doing whatever he can to ensure that El Salvador became a safe nation. And I think I discussed this a couple episodes ago. Like, although although it was temporary, what he did, and it's a bit fuzzy because this has been a while since this was discussed. The last time I remember, rules regarding human rights in El Salvador, they weren't eradicated. They were just paused. So El Salvador could like send the military to go after certain people, well, specifically members of crime gangs in El Salvador, and lock them away in maximum high security facilities. The limit that the human rights in El Salvador was paused for was like 30 days. And if the people want to extend the pause, all they have to say is extend the pause, and if that's the case with a lot of El Salvadorians, the extension for the human right pause continues until eventually the military of El Salvador has captured all of the criminals and all the members of crime gangs in El Salvador until they were all locked up in the most fiercely secured prison facilities that the country has ever developed. Yoo-hoo, big summer blowout. I think you were on mute.
I was pretty much just saying like yeah, it's like pretty much yeah, it's like I really don't know what else to say to that. I mean, that's just all like just create like a bunch of information to take in.
Yeah, it is. But if it works, it works. And recent reports coming from El Salvador, like, the nation is safer than most European countries. So that's something. If it works, it works. Although I was concerned at first, if it was effective and it creates headlines like that, then you know what? Fair enough, fair play. I'll give them credit for that.
Yeah, I guess whatever works works. I mean, I can't really say anything. I can't really say anything more about it. But yeah, I mean, hey, whatever they can do, they're clearly doing it because it works, and they're clearly doing it because it's the best. It's the best thing that they can do right now. So hey, it is what it is.
And it was what it was.
Exactly. Yeah. Is there anything else in the news?
I think there is. Just gotta find the right one.
Okay.
But hold on. They're wondering if Walmart's gonna raise prices because of tariffs.
Yep.
Huh. Do you think they would?
Yeah.
How?
Because the thing is, and I'm not an expert on the economy or anything financial related, but broadly knowing how the tariff works, as which is a fee that a country has to pay additionally, or at least a fee that businesses have to pay additionally if they get something from that specific country. I think the reason why Walmart would rise prices because of tariffs is because of how high the tariffs would be to the point there would be a net there would be a net loss in profits by raising the prices on products in stores would neutralize the loss in such profits.
I feel like if people learn to become more like resourceful on like, natural things, then yeah, they would have a reason to lower the prices. But because no one is going to do that, they're just gonna keep raising the prices on everything.
Yes, a lot of businesses have been relying on importing stuff from other countries, and because so many people have been doing that from many places around the world, by the time Trump has imposed such tariffs already, it is a lot more expensive than it already is for such businesses and organizations to even import such things from foreign countries, which is to the point where such businesses and organizations will have to look at alternatives that are produced within the United States. Likewise, other foreign countries, with the tariffs that has been imposed on them from the United States, they too would have to rely on getting sources from within their own nations as to make up for the loss of whatever goods or services that was imported to and from the United States.
That is true. That is true. I mean, I really found no lie in what you said. I mean, most people do like rely on like other countries to like for food, and yeah, it's just I'm not gonna say it's sad, but it's just it's something. But you know, at the same time, it's like you got to do what you got to do to like keep your business alive. You know, so I'm not even that mad. I'm not even really. I can't even say I'm mad at it. Really, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at what they're doing, but just got to learn how to be more self-reliant at times, so that you don't have to rely on.
Exactly.
Yeah, so just so you don't have to rely on people all the time.
Very true.
Yeah, but yeah, is there anything else in the news or?
I think there should be more.
Oh, okay.
A succulent, a succulent is poached every 2 minutes, and it's decimating a SA biodiversity hotspot.
It's a SA biodiversity hotspot, you said?
SA short for South Africa.
It's called a diversity hotspot.
South Africa's poaching crisis led to the opening of a training academy in 2022. Wildlife crime cases face challenges that hinder prosecution and justice for affected animals. The academy teaches rangers and law enforcement vital investigation and evidence handling skills.
Well, that's pretty good though. That's pretty good.
Indeed.
I'd say Africa, South Africa's doing better. I mean, like in that case, in that like specific aspect, I wouldn't really know how South Africa is doing in general, but in that specific genre, I think South Africa is doing better than us in. I mean, there are certain times when like other countries are thriving, and there are certain times when they're not thriving. So I mean, I'm just glad that they're doing good in that aspect. You did say
Yeah?
South Africa. You did say South Africa, right?
Yes, it was in South Africa.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's like I wouldn't know how South Africa as a whole is doing, but like I would say like this is definitely a great thing that they're doing. Great thing that and a great thing that they're like just continuing to like teach people how to like teach people what to do in order to like solve in order to like just get the job done by any means necessary. So I'd say that in of itself is great. But yeah, it's like I'm just glad that they're doing. I'm just glad they're doing well. Is there anything else in the news?
German climate activist faces expulsion from Austria after ban.
I thought we were going to go this whole episode without talking about activists,
But
because
here
I
we
was
are.
here we are, here we are. So I'm sorry, like I just kind of just zoned out when you said activists. What is he?
Okay.
What is?
Austria has banned a German climate activist for 2 years, she said on Monday, adding she would fight the decision which could see her expelled from the Alpine EU member.
So 2 years, huh? Two
2 years.
years,
Yes.
all because she caused the ruckus, huh?
Most possibly, yes.
I'm not gonna lie, activism is not terrible, but it's just not something. But it also, it's like I don't know. You have to lead up to something else. It's like after that, it's like what else is next? It's like you get banned for 2 years and then you think you won. You didn't win. You didn't win. You lost. You kind of lost in a way because ultimately speaking, man, it's like the problem is not whatever problem you're fighting for is not going to get solved. And for the most part, I will say this. I mean, you just have to simply you have to improvise more. It takes more than just getting banned from somewhere to solve a problem. You have to just continue on your mission. And just after this, we're never going to hear about that activist again. Well, mainly because they're banned for 2 years, but also it's like just what else is there after that? The answer is nothing.
There's nothing else going forward for them at the
Yeah,
moment.
yeah. I mean, you know, it's unfortunate, but it's the truth. I mean, nothing else is going on for them at all whatsoever in the slightest. So, I mean, yeah, it's like nothing is left for them. Nothing will be left for them. It's unfortunate, but it's true. I mean, yeah, it's like after this, we're not going to hear about them at all. But yeah, I do hope the activist is doing well. I hope they're reflecting on their action. But anyways, yeah, like what else in the news?
Autism community sounds alarmed over harmful RFK Jr. comments.
Harmful RFK Jr. comments.
Yeah. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in a new interview said
Oh no.
in a
I'm
new
sorry.
interview. So Health and Human Services Secretary.
Huh. Interesting. Interesting. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I know at times I say that things are a grey area if I'm not too certain, but I think personally, in my opinion, this discussion is one of the most conflicting I've ever heard. Because on one hand, I've heard that the causes of autism could come from mostly from genetics or the environment in which the person has lived most of their lives. And on the other hand, there is other discussions about of ways to quote cure it and other comments discussing on how to prevent it from being a I'm not sure if burden is the word to say, but methods to lessen such effects, or at least lessen such negative effects of autism, where such individuals can continue to live lives as if they were not autistic to begin with. So I've heard a lot of stuff regarding this topic, and I've looked at multiple perspectives. I'm not against nor for what people say or do, but it is interesting that this is discussing something like this is very, very conflicting, and it is very complicated to get into. And I think people talk about this without not having any prior knowledge, or people who do know what they're talking about, but they don't get into details about certain specific details, or they don't, or they, or at least people who throw out like vague terms and such. that is not doing any help whatsoever. And this applies to any story, any topic, or just any conversation in general. Like, you can have your opinions about stuff, but you gotta have at least a foundational base of knowledge in that topic before you can have an opinion on something. You can't just go in like empty-handed, or you can't just go into something with nothing. You have to know something before, or at least be aware of something, or know something of something, something, and so on, before discussing such something, topic, something.
I 100% agree with that. I mean, it's like you can't just go into anything and not have prior information. I mean, that's how most people get caught up and get humiliated on the internet or just in general. It's like you gotta
Yeah,
have prior. Yeah, it's like you gotta just have prior information about like a certain topic and confirm and make sure that it's true. And if it's not true, then yeah, obviously just admit that it's not true and that and apologize that you made a mistake. But yeah, but if it is true, then yes, obviously stand by it and provide the proof, and a lot of people would believe you. And
exactly.
did RFK really said that like the COVID flu shot? Wait, did he say flu shots or the COVID shot did gave people autism?
I think RFK Jr.'s comments were like, the effects of autism is as impactful as the COVID-19 pandemic.
Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. I really don't really have much to say about it. It's just an interesting perspective. I just hope he does have proof. That's all I can
Well,
say.
well, he will have a lot to say about that, and I'm not going to defend him or the things he's saying about this, but I am certain that if he is going to say something like this, where many people would likely disagree, he knows that he's getting himself into that kind of circumstances. So surely, I'm certain, he's going to have something to prove to people to back up what he's saying. Again, not defending him or agreeing what he's saying, but if he's going to bring such claims or going to discuss something that would likely go against years or even decades of research, then surely there has to be something to back what he is saying, and it's likely there'll be some amount of stuff that he can back up to what he is saying in regards to those comments.
That's true. And hey, we just gotta wait and see what happens next. I know he won't make himself look like a fool. I know that much. But hey, we just
Yep,
gotta wait. I used to like RFK. I don't hate him, but it's like,
it's just whatever.
yeah, it's just whatever. I also kind of knew he wasn't gonna win, but like the presidency, which is probably why he pulled out to begin with. He knew he wasn't gonna win. Shoot, he wasn't even in the race.
Yeah,
But hey,
it was just some guy that's wanting to be president.
that's true. Once again, I feel like the real patriots are the people we don't know about. Those are the real people who want an actual change in the country. But obviously, you have to be part of a specific club to even be. You have to sell out to a certain extent in order to in order for them to prep you up and be like, okay, you're our guy. And if you double cross them, they'll tear you down or even kill you, but tear you down. But yeah, uh, that's all I gotta say about that. Is there anything else in the news?
Kremlin says US position ruling out NATO membership for Ukraine gives satisfaction.
Huh. What else is more in that news?
The Kremlin said on Monday that the position of US President Donald Trump's administration on ruling out NATO membership for Ukraine gave Moscow satisfaction, but declined to comment on Trump's hopes for a peace deal this week.
Wow. So Trump's still trying to work out that peace deal, huh?
Yep,
He'll figure something out.
he always does.
Yep,
Somehow.
somehow. But yeah, Trump will figure something out. That's all I gotta say about that. You?
Yep. Yeah,
Same
I say
here?
the same. Yes,
Alright.
exactly.
Anything else in the news?
I think that's us.
Alright. Peace.
Peace.